Yo, what's going on, guys? In the latest stuff, we're hearing on Zach LaVine that the trade market is still barren. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, as the Chicago Bulls wait for Zach LaVine to return from his right foot inflammation, there is no trade market for him. The Bulls and LaVine are mutually interested in parting ways, but his trade market has been slow to materialize. And that Adrian Wojnarowski has said on threads that his trade market is Barren, especially on his way working back from injury. LaVine's in the second year of that 5-year, $215 million deal. The two teams that are connected to him are the 76ers and Lakers, and they both seem not that much interested in him. But what we do know is there are a lot of buyers expected this upcoming trade deadline, so maybe somebody feels desperate and goes out and buys him like the Pistons. But here is what we know about Zach LaVine. Let me hear your thoughts down below. A recent report says the 76ers aren't thinking about Zach LaVine, regardless of the continuous rumors linking the two. Let me hear your thoughts down below. If you're a 76ers fan or if you're a Bulls fan, what do you guys expect the outcome of the Zach LaVine saga? And do you really believe Zach LaVine raises the floor or ceiling of the 76ers? Now, what will his cost be? Because I think for the right cost, Mr. Zach LaVine could help you out. However, basically without trading key rotational players who have become pretty solid defenders for the 76ers like Covington and Batum, the deal becomes a bit complex. So the 76ers obviously have been one of the rumored destinations for a Zach LaVine trade since he's requested out. However, the Sixers don't seem to have that much interest in Zach LaVine. Philadelphia says it's prioritizing players who play both ends of the floor. The 76ers also want to maintain cap flexibility moving forward. LaVine is a notable offensive player. We're talking like dog. But even though he's had the defensive traits to be, or the physical traits to be good at defense, he's never been particularly praised for his defensive ability. Now, he also is owed $40.1 million this season, and that's a difficult salary to match in a trade. Additionally, beyond this season, Zach LaVine's owed nearly $138 million over the next 3 seasons, and that makes trading for him a significant investment via trade in terms of players and draft capital and their cap sheet. So for me, Mark Stein does a great job of just explaining that Philadelphia is not where Zach LaVine's going. I think Philadelphia would rather go after OG Anunoby or Miles Bridges in the offseason, TBH, then go after Zach LaVine. Because to them, Zach LaVine would just be potentially a stagnant move from James Harden to Zach LaVine. Not saying that it's not necessarily a downgrade. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Zach LaVine's a great player. But it's replacing one offensive heavy player to another offensive heavy player. And we saw what the results of having an offensive heavy player like James Harden on the team last year led to. And bringing in a guy like Zach LaVine would basically be doing the same thing again. I don't know. What are your thoughts there? Let me hear your thoughts down below. Bye.
But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So first off, Zach LaVine and his camp wants a Lakers move. Allegedly, Joe Cowley of Chicago Sun-Times says the Bulls have been linked to the Lakers and Raptors in the rumor mill, but multiple sources say LaVine and his representation, which is Clutch Sports, obviously wants Los Angeles Lakers because of the Clutch Sports connection. The Lakers who are eligible to move Friday include Jackson Hayes, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, Christian Wood. And Those are like half those guys are Clutch Sports guys. But besides that, we're hearing from Joe Cowley that there is a fine line between patience and concern. The Bulls front office has to straddle that line. According to sources Wednesday, that many of the players who signed contracts during the summer are trade eligible now, beginning Friday, and that the problem is that Executive Vice President Carnisovas is finding no real trade market interest for LaVine. And that makes sense. I mean, the contract, it's the same situation Bradley Beal was in. So the current situation with Zach LaVine is that he's out for like a month at least, until January 15th, with right foot inflammation. And his trade market continues to swirl in the toilet. And that Zach LaVine would like a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers. He's represented by Clutch Sports, and that agency, obviously represents current Lakers like LeBron and Anthony Davis. LaVine also played college ball at UCLA. The LA Lakers obviously would like to wait until January 15th to see, what their team looks like healthy, to see what the other offers for LaVine might be, as well as when all the trade restrictions for every team has been lifted, especially other players that the Lakers ever signed this past season, off season. Those players would be needed to make the trade work, both from value and a salary matching standpoint. And we know that the Bulls right now are reported would like to prefer to trade Zach LaVine sooner rather than later, and Chicago does want enough time to reevaluate their team with the players they get back for LaVine before making any further moves. Reportedly, Carnisova is set on moving on from Zach LaVine, despite the fact that a market for LaVine has not developed yet. The relationship between LaVine and Chicago head coach Billy Donovan is professionally broken, and making a trade is necessary moving forward. The NBA trade market is unofficially open December 15th, which is tomorrow. That's when many players who signed contracts this summer are eligible to be traded. Now January 15th is when the next trade eligibility marker is expanded for other players who resigned with their teams become trade eligible. So that would give the Bulls a window of where they could potentially move players post, LaVine, as everything comes together. Now, it's understandable that they're slow playing this, because I think I think they don't want to put themselves in a position where they feel like they maybe overasserted themselves or overstretched themselves, whatever you want to call it. But they're definitely trying to figure it out, slow rolling it, which I think is the right thing to do, and understanding where they can get their best value for Zach LaVine, which I think at this point is probably going to be Chicago. I mean, not Chicago, LA, but that's definitely up to, I think, interpretation and speculation. But I wonder what it is, because the deal's clearly going to be like Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo Russell, maybe a pick. But I feel like that might be an overpay, and that's one thing that could, I don't know. I definitely think it's a strange situation, and one that needs to be cleared up, and hopefully they can fix it. Seriously, hopefully they can.